So yeah, CP is the finals MVP through one game. He and Booker had a similar scoring total in this one, but CP's efficiency was better. Ayton's efficiency was great as well, but you'd give it to CP so far. We do have Giannis, which is great, which officially makes my pick Bucks in 6. After one game, that pick's now looking so good, we'll see. And that leads into the first question that I had with the series which was the Bucks pick and roll defense. And, well, look, the Suns, they did about anything they wanted to in pick and rolls in this one. I mean, whether it was Brook Lopez switching, which they did at the tail end of the Hawks series, that resulted in Chris Paul and Devin Booker either making jump shots over him or drawing fouls on him or doing both at the same time, as we saw in that 1 4-point play. So then later on, it was Brook dropping, and that did not go too well either. Should be said on those switches, sometimes it resulted in them dumping it off to Ayton because a smaller guy was on him, PJ Tucker, whatever it may be. And then eventually, again, the dropping, that didn't work as well. We had a couple of Chris Paul go from one side of the paint to the other into like the turning in midair jump shot that he does. We had at least one DeAndre Ayton lob that I remember, which I believe was off of drop coverage because he was able to get free. And that's a huge thing with the Suns offense, is even when Ayton doesn't score, the timing of his rolls are so good that it just freaks the defense out to the point where it's like somebody's getting open, whether it's Ayton himself, whether it's the guy with the ball, whether it's a shooter. He's just really, really good at timing exactly when to roll. And sometimes he kind of re-screens if it doesn't work initially, but the momentum is still kind of there on the play. And then eventually we saw Bobby Portis switching. That didn't really work. CP hit a 3 over him. And then eventually the Bucks went to the Giannis at center lineup, and I guess we'll see if that's something they want to explore more, but nothing worked. And look, if dropping isn't going to work, if switching is not going to work, then you've got to think about either, number one, doing them again and just hoping they miss, which I don't think is going to work. Number two, running some sort of a zone. 3, doing a better job of fighting around screens or whatever with Drew or PJ Tucker, whoever is going to be the initial defender there. Or you could try bringing a double. No matter which one you pick, they're all going to be difficult. I mean, the Suns team, CP and Booker, they're making all the right plays. Booker's passing was huge in this game. There was one play in particular I remember. It was like a cross-court pass in the half court, and it didn't result in an assist, but it resulted in the next pass being the assist, and it was really big. So we'll see. You could also attempt to have Brook Lopez step up on screens and then try to come back down to Ayton, or somebody from the corner can run down to the paint and then Lopez can pick up the guy in the corner or whatever. Even then it's tough because the Suns, they get cut action and that sort of thing off of screens. It's not just everybody standing there, but if it's just going to be hoping that dropping or switching is going to work, I'm not sure it's going to happen. I mean, sure, there were plays that they fouled Booker on or CP on, and they would just hope to not do that again. But the Suns were just so comfortable working off of screens in this, so we'll see. In terms of lineup adjustments for Milwaukee, I mean, maybe we'll see more of the Giannis at center. Maybe we'll see more Bobby Portis over Lopez. Is there a crazy world in which you start Giannis, Lopez, and Bobby Portis? I mean, that lineup is huge. Whether they have the mobility and all that, I don't know, but that could throw something at the Suns that freaks them out a little bit. And part of the reason I say that is because the PJ Tucker thing, it's the same thing every game. Teams just don't guard him like that. I mean, they're not leaving him super wide open, but they're not staying glued to him either. And, sometimes he has his cuts or he has moments on the offensive glass, but maybe he's just got to go for the sake of throwing something different at Phoenix, because they just looked so comfortable in this game. Maybe you just need to be really, really big against them. I don't know. If I didn't mention attempting a zone, perhaps that's an idea. Anyway, let's think about the Bucks offense. So some of it was they weren't able to get out in transition like they'd really like to, and that's, of course, a huge part of their game. But to me, the biggest thing was there were just too many possessions where Giannis wasn't really featured, and whether that's the injury, stamina, or them just kind of falling asleep in the moments, that just can't happen. I mean, if you had questions about him versus Ayton, I mean, look, there was that one play where he just basically pushed Ayton out of the way and then dunked on him. Similar thing against Crowder. He had the turnaround against Ayton, which the Suns will feel okay with. There was that really good play when Pat Connaughton was cutting, and that was a little bit of a question going into this. How much action off of Giannis post-ups will there be? And of course, he still got himself a good amount of trips to the line, so I don't know what it was, but there were too many possessions where it was like Middleton or Drew having to take a contested jump shot, and of course you credit Phoenix for this. I mean, they were packing the paint a lot in this one, I felt like. There was some zone, and I just don't know if the Bucks were really ready for that stuff. I mean, whether it's Giannis on-ball screens, off-ball screens, simply throwing it to him more on the left block, I just felt like there were, again, too many possessions where it's like, okay, Giannis is just kind of there and that's it right now. Well, that's not going to work. So hopefully that doesn't continue moving forward. We did see them get it to Brook Lopez a good amount. He also bailed him out with a couple of three-pointers that were pretty big. So that's nice, but again, it comes back to the defense. Like, I don't know if Brook Lopez is going to give you enough on offense to make up for him getting torched on screens. And I mean, it's not like the shots that he's allowing to CP and Booker are wide open or anything, but it's more so like he's just too slow to get a contest. He's got to back up a little bit, and then he's just not quick enough to get right in their face. So if it's going to be that on one end, it might not really matter what he gives you on offense unless he is dominant on offense. In this game, he was good, but he wasn't good enough to make up for the stuff on the other end. So we'll see. Other small things. I thought Giannis was going to be defending Crowder a lot in this one, and he was defending Mikal Bridges. I don't know if that is a massive thing, but it was like something kind of noticeable. To get back to the Bucks offense, because I just remembered this one, I felt like in the first quarter, they were ready for Ayton defending Giannis a bit, and so they went to the handoff stuff with Drew and Middleton, and then it felt like as the game went on, to get back to it again, they just stopped kind of doing it. I mean, if I go through the tape of this game, maybe there will be a few possessions in the second half where they did go to it, but it just seemed like they went away from a plan that has potential to work, especially if Ayton's going to be sagging off of Giannis, and also if you run that type of action really high, I just feel like it can result in some good shots. And maybe it's not for the guy getting the handoff from Giannis, like maybe that guy's defender gets back to him, but then it at least gets Giannis a head of steam going to the rim, and well, from there, maybe the Suns will just say, well, we've got Ayton, so we'll live with that. But I still feel like there's potential for good things to happen there for the Bucks, so we'll see. Between pick and roll coverage, getting Giannis more involved on offense, potentially some lineup changes. Milwaukee's got a lot of questions to answer for this one. But so far through game one, CP and Booker and Ayton and Cam Johnson was also huge in this one. So yeah,